Namaste and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand, ladies and gentlemen. On a day when the Congress party's tall leaders stepped out all dressed in black to call it a Black Friday protest against what Mr. Rahul Gandhi termed as the death of democracy, and again a fight against the dictatorship that is prevalent currently, and more importantly, the story stitched and the narrative was that this is a fight or a protest against inflation and price rise. That was what was said. For more than about 4 hours, national media, state media were busy covering the Congress protests and their andolan on the streets. And not just streets, it was actually from Sadak to Sansad or Sansad to the Sadak, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what was called. Then we had the BJP in the morning allege that all of this is because of the Enforcement Directorate crackdown that has happened. And this is not about price rise, but it is about परिवार. तो महंगाई की बात नहीं है, परिवार को बचाना है, ईडी को डराना है, धमकाना है, is what Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, senior BJP leader and former union minister, said. Then we had an admission coming in from Mr. Salman Khurshid, slip of tongue perhaps. नेताओं ने पहले हमें बचाया, हम हमारे नेता को बचाना है. He was holding a price rise placard but saying this. So did he let it slip that it was actually Parivar? So that's where the political fight was. But then just a short while ago, Union Home Minister Amit Shah stepped up and put matters into a totally different perspective. It was a political bomb that he dropped. Said, don't forget, today is not just the 3rd anniversary of the abrogation of Article 370. Today is the 2nd anniversary of the Bhoomi Pujan at Janm Bhoomi. And this black protest, this black dressed protest on this Friday, it has many, many layered significance and intentions. He said this is a veiled appeasement plot on this day that you have chosen. Not just insulting or an affront to the astha of crores of Ram Bhakts, but to try and appease. And that's why the Congress timed it today. Why else, on a day when there were no raids, would you decide on a black protest? The Congress has been protesting right all along. Listen into what Mr. Amit Shah said.
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो मैं मानता हूं कि एक जिम्मेदार पार्टी के नाते कानून का सहयोग देना चाहिए था. ये सारा जो मामला है, ये कहीं ना कहीं कोर्ट ने रजिस्टर की हुई एफआईआर के बेसिस पर चला है, मगर हर रोज वो प्रदर्शन करते हैं. जहां तक आज का सवाल जो आपने स्पेसिफिक मुझे पूछा है, मेरा स्पष्ट मानना है कि कांग्रेस ने इसमें हिडन तरीके से अपनी अपीसमेंट की पॉलिसी को आगे बढ़ाया है. आज ईडी ने किसी भी प्रकार का ना किसी को तलब किया है, ना पूछताछ की है, ना कोई रेड हुई है, कुछ नहीं हुआ है. और अचानक ही कांग्रेस ने आज ये कार्यक्रम दिया विरोध का. मैं तो समझ ही नहीं सकता विरोध का कार्यक्रम क्यों आज दिया गया है. और हर रोज जब विरोध के कार्यक्रम होते थे तो अपने अपने ड्रेस में होते थे. आज सभी के सभी लोग काले कपड़े पहनकर करें. मैं मानता हूं कि आज ही के दिन इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने राम जन्मभूमि का शिलान्यास किया था. 550 साल पुरानी ये समस्या का बहुत शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से समाधान निकला था. और कहीं पर भी देश में ना दंगा हुआ था, ना हिंसा हुई थी. और शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से करोड़ों करोड़ों लोगों की श्रद्धा को परवान चढ़ाने का काम इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने किया था. कांग्रेस ने आज का दिन इसीलिए विरोध के लिए और विशेषकर काले कपड़ों में विरोध के लिए सिलेक्ट किया है कि वो एक शटल मैसेज देना चाहते हैं कि हम राम जन्मभूमि के शिलान्यास का विरोध करते हैं और अपनी तुष्टीकरण की नीति को वो आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. और मैं तो यही कहना चाहूंगा कि तुष्टीकरण की नीति न देश के लिए अच्छी है, न कांग्रेस के लिए अच्छी है. तुष्टीकरण की नीति के चलते ही आज कांग्रेस जिस स्थिति में है वो स्थिति में दिखाई पड़ रही है. और जहां तक ईडी का सवाल है, सभी ने देश के कानून की व्यवस्था का सम्मान करना चाहिए और सहयोग करना चाहिए।
Well, that was the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Earlier in the evening, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath tweeted a reminder and a tribute on the anniversary marking 2 years of Janm Bhoomi Shilanyas or Bhoomi Pujan, beg your pardon. And here is the construction work at great speed. And then he had also put out visuals of what happened 2 years ago, where there was the Bhoomi Pujan. It was grand. The Prime Minister was present. Yogi Adityanath was present, and of course, his Dada Guru, his Guru had all fought for Ram Lalla Virajman. So there was a story there. But he did tweet and credit the Prime Minister for living up to the dreams and fulfilling the dreams after the court awarded Ram Lalla Virajman his Janm Bhoomi, that a Bhavya Ram Mandir will be built. And then he also put that the work on it is is being conducted at a feverish pace, and very soon crores of Ram Bhakts will be able to see Ram Lalla Virajman in a Bhavya Ram Mandir. So that was the story. But then soon after Amit Shah, Yogi Adityanath also stepped up and spoke and said this is an affront and an assault on the astha of crores of Indians. What the Congress did earlier in the day. Listen in.
कांग्रेस पार्टी कई दिनों से आंदोलन कर रही है, अपने सामान्य कपड़ों में कर रही थी, लेकिन 5 अगस्त की तिथि को श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर निर्माण कार्य के शुभारंभ दिवस के दिन, अयोध्या दिवस के दिन, माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय के सम्मान दिवस के दिन राम भक्तों को अपमानित करने वाला कांग्रेस का यह आचरण एक बार फिर जग जाहिर हुआ है। आज कांग्रेसियों ने काले कपड़े पहन करके जो प्रदर्शन किया है, यह से राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर निर्माण की तिथि के दिन यह राम भक्तों का अपमान है, अयोध्या दिवस का अपमान है, भारत के लोकतंत्र का अपमान है, भारत की न्यायपालिका के सम्मान का अपमान है।
Let's dive straight into the debate. It's a straight face-off between Congress leader Sanjay Jha and BJP's very own Rakesh Sinha ji, Rajya Sabha MP also at this point. Congress Black Friday linked with Ram Mandir is the question that we are asking. Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP, Rakesh Sinha ji is with us, and Sanjay Jha, political analyst, is with us. Let's go across to the two gentlemen. Namaste. Thank you. Good to have you, gentlemen. And let's hope it's only the two of you. So let's have a good argument and a counter and allow each other their space. Let's try and keep it as democratic as possible. So, Sanjay Jha, I would like you to respond to the Union Home Minister and the UP Chief Minister first up. Was this a veiled appeasement ploy?
All I can say that today the Congress party's protest is because democracy, Anand, is dead in this country, is dead and buried. And I think we should all, as citizens of India, must hang our heads in shame that the constitution of this country is being throttled. Anybody on your show who has seen these visuals of the way the Congress leaders have been attacked repeatedly by the police, it is a manifestation of a police state. India has become an illiberal democracy. We are like a democratically elected dictatorship. The attempt by Mr. Shah or Mr. Adityanath to try and give it another religious twist, and this is the absolutely fundamental playbook of the BJP and the RSS, political polarization. But I'm very confident, Anand, that the people of India are going to see through the harassment of politicians or business people by the Enforcement Directorate, and ultimately no party wins permanently, no party loses permanently. I think what you're witnessing is the arrogance of power and the complete contempt for basic civic and what I call as responsible political behavior. Good luck. You can give more time to Mr. Rakesh Sinha. I have spoken my part.
No, not just that. There are many more aspects to this and many more questions that will come your way. This was the opening remark, and like I said, it's just the two of you gentlemen. We've got good whole 20 minutes, so we'd like to hear both sides. But the fact of the matter is, the pictures that I saw today, sir, were the police personnel being assaulted. In fact, somebody's wrist was being twisted, and there was a picture that was put out by a lot of people, including members of the BJP. The other thing that we said is, either you say it's democratically elected or you say dictatorship. So if the Congress party or any other party which is not BJP wins an overwhelming mandate in a state, it's the victory of democracy. But if the BJP goes from 282 to 303, then it's dictatorship. Somehow, somewhere, कहते हैं ना, ये बात कुछ हजम नहीं हुई. But Rakesh Sinha ji, how would you want to respond? That this is the BJP RSS playbook to polarize.
You know, in Latin American countries, bullets were used to let the democracy decline. But in India, there are certain elements which are using not bullets, but ballast for the decline of democracy. The Congress party, in the name of democracy, disguising as the Democratic Party, is doing everything which would lead the democracy to a shame. I'm giving two examples. On 5th August, the day when Janm Bhoomi, Mandir Shilanyas was done by Honorable Prime Minister, this was the greatest achievement in the field of culture in the modern India. That day, you are using black dress, black uniform, you are protesting against whom? Can you imagine, Anand? 5th August is no less important than any national day in this country. It has a civilizational importance. It is not unknowingly Congress has done, as our Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah has pointed out. I am giving two more things about the Congress party. Just to divert the attention from the corruption charges, the loot and plunder they had done of their own company, the National Herald, a newspaper started by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1937. 2,000 crore rupees shared, they transferred their own names, the family members. Now the Congress is fighting for democracy. Corruption can never strengthen democracy. If there is a widespread corruption in any democratic society, you know that democracy would die. And here the agencies are working, they are working their own. And this is the country which is a constitutional governance. And constitutional governance, nobody can claim immunity. This 10 Janpath and the Congress party, for their own leaders, trying to snatch the democratic power, snatch the constitutional power, that there should be immunity for Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. They are above the law, they are above the constitution. That cannot happen. For a common man, for a common businessman, for a common corporate person, and for any member of parliament or any political leader, there cannot be two sets of rules. They want two sets of rules. If you are claiming immunity, why not Lalu Yadav would claim? Why not a common businessman would claim? So there is no difference between a corrupt politician and a corrupt businessman. Corrupt politician and corrupt bureaucrat. You should not do that. Politics does not give you any right to disguise under the constitutional and democratic rights and parliament democracy. The last point I am just raising that, Sanjay. Yeah. You know, when you are talking of the democracy, every day the Congress spokesperson, left party's spokesperson, they come and they abuse our Prime Minister. They abuse in the most barbaric words used, uncivilized words. They say there is a dictatorship. Then you are changing the definition of dictatorship. Every day you are on the street and protesting against the government, and you say there is a dictatorship. You raise the question of, you disrupted the House for 10 days for discussion on price rise. When Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji was responding, not a single congressman was there. This is their seriousness for the issues they themselves raise. So nation understand the Congress politics and the degeneration of the Congress, decline of the Congress. Decline of Congress is not the decline of democracy. There is a difference. You forget it. Your own words that Indra is India and Indra is India and India is Indra. You forget Nehru is Tiranga and Tiranga is Nehru. You forget that the Congress is democracy and democracy is Congress. Your decline is your party's decline. Your decline is your idealism, decline of idealism. Your decline is decline of your organization and leadership and organization, not the democracy. Democracy.
Let Sanjay Jha respond
by the parliamentary democratic forces.
Sanjay Jha.
Anand, I have told you that in today's program, I am going to give as much time as Mr. Sinha wants. because I have to keep it very short and just tell your viewers that India is no longer a democracy. Don't fool yourself. And I'll tell you why. Democracy, Anand, is not based on once every 5 years the people voting. It's not based on us voting in an assembly election or a panchayat election or a municipal election. It's what happens when a democracy functions. How are you providing fundamental rights to your citizens? They don't exist anymore. I'll give you an example. I mean, look at the state of institutions in India. I mean, Mr. Sinha here is waxing eloquent on investigation and corruption. I think the people of India know what the Enforcement Directorate has become. It has become an instrument of political intimidation in our country. It's a shame because it has a much more noble purpose, which is to try and stop money laundering. But you know it, I don't want to bore you with details of how many leaders who have joined BJP, actually they suddenly become doodh ka dhula hua. So this is the party that practices brazen hypocrisy. Anand, I'll be honest with you, okay? The truth is this, that yes, there was an emergency during the Congress time. And I'm glad the Congress party was defeated for actually doing something that was very anti-constitutional. That lasted for 21 months. We have had 96 months of an unofficial emergency. And you know what? Why I say that? I say it with responsibility. Today I meet people. Sinha ji, आपको मैं बता रहा हूँ, जिम्मेदारी के साथ बता रहा हूँ आपको. I meet people, Anand, in Mumbai. People from business. I meet CEOs. I meet bankers. I meet young people who are like, you know, we are scared now to speak the truth. There are people who are no longer saying anything at all. You see, when a democracy dies, is whether it's media or whether it's institutions of governance like the CBI, Election Commission, you name it, you know, DRI, any institution. When people stop speaking the truth and everyone says Modi ji to बहुत ही अच्छे हैं, सिन्हा जी के जैसा कोई है ही नहीं, भाजपा और आरएसएस तो देश को ही बना सकते हैं, बाकी सब लोग तो देशद्रोही हैं, राष्ट्रवादी नहीं है. That's when the trouble begins. And I think we have reached that point today. And I'm concerned today as a citizen of India. I'll tell you why. Because as a student of political history, I know when political parties murder dissent. You know why? Because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know about unemployment, price rise, death of institutions, joblessness, any other problem of sectarian conflict, etc. Because if that is known to the people of India, they believe they might lose.
Now, can I now please come in with some facts, sir?
Sure.
Because arguments are good to hear. The point I'm trying to make is at this point that you will, if the protest was about price rise and inflation, should it be when inflation is at an all-time high, or should it be at a time when inflation has actually dropped? When protest is about price rise, unemployment, should it be at a time when, or in a month when unemployment rate has come down, or when unemployment rate is at the highest? So I'm just quoting you data. 4th August 2022.
Very quickly, I'll answer you.
The unemployment rate has actually come down. It was in June 2022 at 7.8% national average. In July 2022 is 6.8%. And this is as per the Center for Monitoring the Indian Economy. So it's actually come down. So July में तो कम हो गया, तो August में क्या protest कर रहे हैं? Then second point, food inflation. Numbers. I am talking numbers. Food inflation eased to 7.75% from 7.97% between May and June. And this was also because sharp decline in oil and fat inflation. Then the numbers, the non-food, non-fuel component of inflation was at 5.95%, declining to less than 6% for the first time in 3 months. So, sir, the 3 months when it was above 6%, you are not doing Black Friday protest. But when it has actually come down, you are saying महंगाई मार गई. Then, then the other point.
संक्षेप में जवाब देता हूं आपको. बहुत जल्दी में 30 सेकंड में. सबसे पहले तो ये विरोध जो हो रहे हैं, अभी जो रोड में हो रहे हैं, वो पहले भी हुए हैं. तो आप ये गलत बात कह रहे हैं कि ये पहली बार.
मैंने क्या कहा? मैंने बोला ब्लैक फ्राइडे प्रोटेस्ट. मैंने विरोध नहीं बोला. मैंने बोला जो इंटेंसिटी से ब्लैक फ्राइडे प्रोटेस्ट हुआ, सवाल तो उस पर ही है ना कि आज के दिन काले कपड़े क्यों पहने.
नहीं, एक मिनट. और जहां तक दूसरी बात है, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि रिकॉर्ड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट से 1% गिर गया तो कम हो गया क्या? डू यू नो हाउ मेनी पीपल हैव गॉन जॉबलेस इन द मंथ ऑफ June?
Sir, I am not questioning that unemployment is not an issue, but you are actually coming out and protesting unemployment with the intensity which was done today on a day when unemployment has come down by 1%. So I'm not saying there is no unemployment, but I'm saying that in the rate it is coming down. That's when you're coming out and protesting. So then they're asking what's your intention.
या आप ये बता रहे हो कि यार पहले तो तुम्हारे दोनों हाथ और टांग टूटे थे, अभी 2 हाथ और तो आपका एक टांग में 2% का थोड़ा बैंडेड लगा है, तो यार बॉस अभी तो फ्रैक्चर ही है। फ्रैक्चर बैंडेड से ठीक नहीं होता है सर। फ्रैक्चर ही रहता है।
फ्रैक्चर तो है सर। कास्ट लगने के बाद आप बोल रहे हो हाथ टूट गया। जब हाथ टूटा था तब तो आपने कुछ किया नहीं। मैं वो पूछ रहा हूँ आपसे। That's what I am trying to say. That the question is why today? Now one of your own नेता came out and said कि भाई नेता ने भाई इन नेताओं ने मुझे पहले बचाया, आज मुझे अपने नेताओं को बचाना पड़ेगा। देन क्लैरिफिकेशन आया। फिर एक और आपके नेता हैं रमेश कुमार जी, एमएलए हैं, उन्होंने बोला देखिए we have made enough money for 3-4 generations in the name of Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi and Sonia. I am quoting them. If we can't sacrifice this much, it won't be good for us. This is MLA Ramesh Kumar, July 21, 2022. So these are comments made by your own leaders. What the question is, the question right now is today, 5th of August 2021, the Congress protested on the streets. That's what they are saying. First anniversary of Janm Bhoomi Pujan, Ram Mandir Bhoomi Pujan. 5th of August 2022, Congress again decides we have to make it symbolic. The Union Home Minister Rakesh Sinha ji has not said कि आपने protest किया. आज के दिन काले कपड़े पहनकर आप क्यों निकले? आप आए, सुबह प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस तो व्हाइट शर्ट में किया राहुल गांधी जी ने, बट संसद में आते ही सब ब्लैक कपड़े हो गए. चिदम्बरम जी, जयराम रमेश जी, they were all dressed in white. Ashok Gehlot ji was in white when they did the press conference in the morning. Rakesh Sinha ji.
So somewhere is the color of protest, my friend.
No. So then you should have been wearing black on all days. No, why today and this day is the question that is being asked. Rakesh Sinha.
No, Congress has not reconciled on two things: abrogation of Article 370 and the construction of Ram Temple. This is their compulsion to remain silent. Otherwise, they are as protester of these two issues as Owaisi and other people are doing. But I am coming to a core issue: how the index of morality has declined in the Congress. Sanjay Jha may be democratic, may be aspiring idealism, but I am reminding, because he was telling that he is a student of politics and political science and political history. Therefore, I am reminding. Otherwise, I would not remind it. On 18th February 1958, a very prominent leader of India, finance minister of the country, who was the member of the Constituent Assembly. Not only Constituent Assembly, out of 7 members of the draft committee of the Constitution, T.T. Krishnamachari was one of his members. He had to resign. Reason was there was MC Chagla commission which which found him the guilty for corruption, and the corruption charges was leveled none other by Firoz Gandhi, son-in-law of Jawaharlal Nehru, in the parliament. Look, in 1958, the son-in-law of Jawaharlal Nehru, a prominent member of the Congress party, Firoz Gandhi, raising the issue of corruption. Haridas Mudra, a big businessman from Mumbai, was arrested. Finance minister had to resign. Here, the Congress is moralizing corruption, saying that their leaders are being victimized. Sanjay Jha, National Herald was your property. It would have helped the Congress to grow. Jawaharlal Nehru founded it. It has a glorious history. But what happened? It declined as a newspaper, but its property was plundered by the family members. 2,000 crore rupees, 80% shares transferred to their names. Can anybody on this earth, in the globe, justify this? Can Sanjay Jha have moral to justify this? What discrimination? This is not a balancing act that you have slapped three slaps to a person, then you give another slap to other person. No balancing act. Corrupt is a corrupt. If I am a corrupt, I would shout that why not other person was arrested. So I think this is a loot and plunder. And you are talking of democracy. Your party, Sitaram Kesri was a party person. How he was thrown out from the party? How P.V. Narasimha Rao was treated by this family, not by the Congress. And Mr. Motilal Bora, the most dedicated congressman. Sanjay Jha can vouch for his dedication. And after his death, the obituary by the family that blamed for all the charges, now he cannot come to defend himself. The man who died, the most dedicated congressman, I found him in the Rajya Sabha. So man of integrity. This family can make a scapegoat anybody for the sake of his own status and power.
But what is National Herald and the Enforcement Directorate? Now, Rakesh Sinha ji, this is also a question. Now, is this to try and give it a nice political spin? Because आज पूरे दिन सिर्फ कांग्रेस पार्टी दिखी, राम मंदिर की बात किसी ने की नहीं. तो फिर, so let's link it to Ram Mandir because you're doing. Because this is also a political bomb that the Union Home Minister has dropped, right? Why should this protest as a black protest? Why should it be linked with Ram Mandir?
I'm answering. You know, Anand. I may have grievance to anybody, but on 26th January or 15th August, can I wear the black uniform? I know that this is a historical day. 5th August in the history of India, in the history of modern Indian history, has become one of the civilizational days. The fight for Janm Bhoomi is not a fight which started in 1947 or 1747. It had a 400 or 500 years history. It is a battle between the two traits and two forces. One force, traits and trend, which wanted to finish out the diversities of the country. Other, which we represent, that ekam satyam vipra bodha badati. We should not disturb. And all the modes of worship remain undisturbed in this country, in harmony. That is the 5th August when Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, by his vision and action, got the resolve the issue, which was a matter of dispute, contention in this country. It's a historic day.
So it's a historic day.
You are wearing the black uniform.
So you are saying that it's a historic day. They knew that 5th of August is going to be an important day. So that everybody knew, because you would also agree, Sanjay Jha, that at least for 3 days or 4 days the Congress party had been meeting and saying Friday kya karna hai, that is 5 August ko karna kya hai. Because if the black protest had to happen on a day when you believe that it was Tanashai going on, when Young Indian office was sealed, there should have been a Black Friday protest. When the inflation rate was at the highest at that point in time, the CMI data had not yet come in Parliament, then it could have been a black protest. Last Friday, it could have been a Black Friday protest. Why 5th of August is the question? That's the political allegation that's come at the Congress party, that perhaps this is layered at multiple levels.
Okay, Anand, very quickly, it is so ridiculous, absurd and preposterous. I don't want to even dignify it by commenting on it. But it also tells you how desperate BJP is and how it will do anything to divide our society. Let me leave it at that. Quick answers to Mr. Rakesh Sinha. Okay? Rakesh Sinha ji, आप ही के संजय पाटिल हैं, आपके पार्टी के लोकसभा एमपी हैं, वो हमारे सांगली के एमपी हैं, महाराष्ट्र से. And Sanjay Patil is on record to say, I'm in BJP, so ED will never come after me. And you know, Anand, when institutions die, democracies die. Remember that. The BJP will win, the Congress will win, the BJP will win.
No, but does that absolve?
But India is forever.
Your charge that you are made is that those, this is a similar Trinamool Congress charge, that those who join the BJP, there's like a washing machine. So then they get cleaned up immediately. But that doesn't absorb. No, but then are you admitting that those who are being raided by the Enforcement Directorate are guilty?
Yeah, let me ask Sinha.
No, I'm asking you, are you admitting that those who are currently being raided by the Enforcement Directorate are guilty? You can indulge in whataboutery saying what about those who are part of the BJP, but I'm asking you, are you admitting that those who are currently being raided by the Enforcement Directorate, they are guilty?
Anand, the short answer to that is ED's conviction rate is 0.5%. I think your viewers are very intelligent, very perceptive. They know the truth. 2 short questions for Mr. Sinha. Sinha ji, आपका ये ऑपरेशन लोटस जो है, उसके पैसे कहाँ से आते हैं? जरा ED इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहा है क्या? दूसरी बात, बीजेपी को जो thousands of crores जो पैसे आ रहे हैं, 80% of the money on electoral bonds बीजेपी को जाता है. तो बीजेपी को ये पैसे देता कौन है? कौन उद्योगपति हैं? कौन देते हैं पैसे? इसका भी ईडी छानबीन कर रहा है. इसका जवाब दे दीजिए, बात खत्म.
No, I request Sanjay Jha to file a PIL and go to the court. He has liberty and we have independent court.
अरे जनता के तरफ.
I'm just telling you.
No, don't heckle him, Sanjay. He didn't heckle you. When you tried to brush off questions asked of you as ridiculous and left it, then he didn't heckle you. So let him answer. Yes.
जनता ने तो आपको बहुत पहले रिजेक्ट कर दिया, इसलिए जनता को तो छोड़ दीजिए। मैं आगे आपको दो पॉइंट बताता हूं। संजय झा जी, many political parties died in this country, eroded their base, like Swatantra Party, Hindu Mahasabha, Republican, many Republican parties, dozens of parties. That didn't mean that democracy died or declined. If Congress is dying due to its own contradictions, its own maladies and ills, that does not mean democracy is dying. Even if I am telling you tomorrow or today BJP would know more, then democracy would die, I cannot say. Democracy would survive. We are the components of the democracy. We are the extra components of the democracy. Democracy is the empowerment of the people. When Prime Minister is reaching to 80 crore people, nowhere in the world any government could provide 80 crore people such on very dignified way the ration. This is the democracy when you're empowering the people. Nowhere in the world, 11 crore toilets have been constructed. You are in the power for more than 6 decades. Women were going outside on the roads when the car were passing with the light. Women stood up because there was focused light on their body. This is how the situation in this country. I think Prime Minister Modi had brought the social
Dignity.
revolution, economic revolution, and cultural revolution. You have to recognize this fact. Having said that, I am telling you, as a democratic party, political party, recognizing the great works done by that, you have more opportunity to oppose the government. But you are opposing the government where people are rejecting you. People are not believing you. Rajiv Gandhi said, 15 paisa reaches to the people. What is now? If farmers are getting any amount from central government, 100% reaching to the farmer, 100% money reaching to the Narega workers. This is the governance, the transformation. You see, the Prime Minister goes outside. I am not taking, because this is, I am a member of Parliament. I cannot take the name of any country, any state head. But I know that all the Prime Ministers were patted by the head of a particular country. This time, the head of a country rushes to the Prime Minister to shake hand. This is the index of change. This is the index of change of the climate. It is all that leadership has a great role in any country, development of the country.
That leadership has a great role. Leadership has a great role.
We want clean politics. You have undemocratic and corrupt actors in the party.
No, but leadership has a great role, but the other aspect is that does this charge stick? Does this charge of a Black Friday, well thought out, on the 2nd anniversary of Bhoomi Pujan of Ram Lala Virajman or Janm Bhoomi, does that stick? That's the question, because that's the big political bomb which changed the whole political narrative. Because through the day, the allegation was that this is about the parivar and it is not about price rise. But now it's become bigger. This is about Ram Mandir, not about anything else, is what is the allegation. Gentlemen, always fun debating and discussing with you. Thank you very much for being such such well-behaved panelists, if I may say very respectfully. Sanjay Jha and Rakesh Sinha ji, namaste and thank you very much. Before we take a break, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring you up to speed on a big development. And this is on this entire Sar Tan Se Juda activity which started. And this is the latest that we have got, where the NIA probe has cracked down and arrested 2 members more in the Umesh Kolhe murder. This is the Right Stand exclusive, a CNN News 18 exclusive that we are putting for you right now. Intelligence inputs and the NIA probe. This is what has led them to the arrest of 2 people. And this information has been accessed by our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. The murder of Umesh Kolhe in Amravati in the wake of Nupur Sharma controversy, throwing in more light on a well-planned conspiracy to raise communal tensions through targeted killings of those who supported Nupur Sharma. As the NIA expands its investigation, they are now unearthing it was a well-thought-out, pre-planned plot. It seems multiple meetings were held to execute the plan, where the killers were radicalized to commit the crime. Evidence also suggests links to other groups on the radar of agencies for anti-national activities, as well as international ties for funding and logistics. More importantly, 2 more suspects have been arrested by the NIA. The 2 suspects who've been arrested are Abdul Arbaz and Maulvi Mushfiq Ahmad. Both are in NIA custody. Mushfiq Ahmad is Jamaat-e-Ulama-e-Hind chief in Amravati. This Maulvi Ahmad allegedly planned Umesh Kolhe's murder. He was part of multiple meetings before and also after. In fact, Maulvi Ahmad was informed by one of the main accused and those who perpetrated and drove the knife into Umesh Kolhe and tried to, in fact, butcher him. But the locals woke up and there was commotion in the streets, and that's why they stabbed him multiple times around the neck and then they ran away. He was actually informed, Mushfiq Ahmad, that Gustakh medical guy, quote unquote, Gustakh medical guy was killed. Maulvi Ahmad was part of meetings before and after the killing. He allegedly helped killers escape arranged shelter. That's what he did. The main suspect, Irfan Khan, was heavily influenced by Maulvi Mushfiq Ahmad. Maulvi Mushfiq Ahmad allegedly wanted Umesh Kolhe to be punished, and Maulvi Ahmad allegedly linked to the Tablighi Jamaat and also the PFI. So Maulvi Mushfiq Ahmad, the Jamiyat-e-Ulama-e-Hind head in Amravati, linked to the Tablighi Jamaat and also to the PFI. He allegedly ran a force of around 250 youth who were highly influenced by him, under his control, and of course would do his bidding. He allegedly received funding from Qatar and Kuwait. This is the Right Stand exclusive that we have, ladies and gentlemen, and we're just putting out these details. We're tracking the butchers of Udaipur, the murderers of Amravati very, very closely, and of course, the government's crackdown, internal crackdown on radicals and Trojans within. We're going to take a very short break. It's Friday evening, and what we're going to do is take the Tiranga quiz, make it a little bigger. Coming up next, how best do you know your tricolor? It's the Tiranga quiz. We have two special guests who will be joining us. They will share stories of glory of India over the last 75 years, their moment of pride with the tricolor, with the Tiranga, and we'll also ask you questions. The number to call is 0120-434-1895. You saw it flash on your screens. It's there at the bottom of your screens. 434-1895. Pick up the phone and then join us on this quiz live. But as we take a break, I'm going to show you. All right, that's the number, and we're just putting it out again. See you after the break. It's the Tiranga quiz. Get your hands on the phone. If you're on social media, follow us on our social media pages, and the questions are put up there. You can answer via social media too. See you in 5 minutes.